Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 1, Chapter 4, The Appearance of Sri Narad. 1.4.1 Vyasa Uvacha Iti Bruvanam Samastuya Muni Nama Dirga Satrinam Vruddha Kulapatiya Sutam Braha Vruchaha Sauneko Bravid.
Vyasadev said, on hearing Sutta Goswami speak thus, Shaunaka Muni, who was the elderly, learned leader of all the rishis, engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sutta Goswami by addressing him as follows.
Text 2. Saunaka Uvacha Sutta Sutta Mahabhaga Vadano Vadatam Vara Katham Bhagavatim Punyam Yada Bhagavan Chukraha.
Shaunaka said, O Sutta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful sage Sukadev Goswami.
Text 3. Kasmin yuge pravacchetam sthane vakena hetuna kutah sanchoditah Krishna kravat kratavan samatiham munihi.
In what period and at what place was this first begun? And why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Dwapana Vyas, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature?
Text 4. Tasya putro mahayogi samadruna niravikalpaha ekanta matiruna nidro gudo mada iveyate.
His Vyasadev's son was great devotee and equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person.
Text 5. Drustavanu yantam ruhi atmajam apya anagnam devyo hriya paridadur na sutasya chitram tadvikshya prachyati munau jagadu satavastit stripum vidanatu sutasya vivikta drustehe.
While Shilvyasadev was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Shilvyasadev himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son has passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified and, when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions.
Text 6. Katham alakasita pauraiha samapraptaha kuru jangalan unmatta mukha jadvad vicharan gaj sahyave ye.
How was he, Srila Sukadev, the son of Vyas, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangla, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded?
Text 7. Katham va pandave yasya rajarsa munina saha samvadaha sambhutatata yatre sa satvasi sutrihi.
How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for his great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him?
Text 8. Sagodohan matram hi gruhesu grahamedinam avektase mahabhagas Tirthi Kuravama Tad Ashramam.
He, Sukadev Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to satisfy the residents.
Text 9. Abhimanyu Sutam Suta Prahura Bhagavato Tattvam Mama Tasya Janma Maha Afcharyam Karmani Cha Grunihi Naha.
It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him.
Text 10. Sa Samrat Kasya Vahetoha Pandunama Manavardhanaha Prayo Pravisto Gangayam Anadratya Diratriyam.
He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. When did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death?
Text 11. Namanti yat pada niketam atmanaha Shivaya haniya danani satravaha Katham sa viraha shriyam anga drushtaya jam Yuva isatostra sutam aho saha subhim.
Prabhuji, can you scroll, please? Thank you. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed kingly opulences that were difficult to give up. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life?
Text 12. Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye Ya uttam shloka parayana janaha Jivanti natmartham asau parashrayam Mumocha nirviddaya kutaha kalevaram.
Those who are devoted to the cause of personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was the shelter for others?
Text 13. Tat sarvam naha samachakasva prasto yad ihi kinchana manyetvam vishaye vacham snatam anyatra chandasat.
We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you.
Text 14. Sutta uvacha dvapare samanu prapte tritiye yuga paryaye jatah parasarad-yogi vasavyama kalaya harehi.
Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to the Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu.
Text 15. Sa kadachit sarasvatya upsparshaya jalam suchihi vivikta eka asenam udite ravi mandale.
Once upon a time, he, Vyasadeva, as the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the water of the Saraswati and sat alone to concentrate.
Text 16. Paravaragnaha sarusihi kalena vyaktaramahasa yuga dharma vyaktikaram praptam bhuvi yuge yuge.
The great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened on the earth in different ages due to unseen force of time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Yogesh Prabhu and Shabani Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very nice recitation. So, one second. We are discussing text 5 of this chapter. Is that correct? Just want to make sure that I've prepared for the right session. Is that right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you so much. So, today text is text number 5. दृष्टावानुनयन्तं ऋषिमात्मजम् अपि अनङ्गम् दिव्यो ह्रिया परिदोर्न सुतस्य चित्रम् तद्वीक्षया प्रचति मुनुना जगातु सुतवष्टि स्त्री पुंभीरा न तु सुतस्य विवेकदृष्टे. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Excuse me. Translation. While Srila Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth. Although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 5.18, it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and a gentle brahmana, a chandala, a dog, or a cow due to his spiritual vision. Srila Sukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Thus, he did not see a male or female. He saw all living entities in different dress. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying his demeanor. Just as by looking at the child one can understand how innocent he is, Sukadeva Goswami was a young boy, 16 years old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies, but because Sukadeva Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, he appeared very innocent. The ladies, by their special qualifications, could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. But when his father passed, the ladies quickly dressed. The ladies were exactly like his children or grandchildren, yet they reacted to the presence of the Vyasadeva according to the social custom, because Srila Vyasadeva played the part of a householder. A householder has to distinguish between a male and a female, otherwise he cannot be a householder. One should therefore attempt to know the distinction between the body and soul without any attachment for male and female. Excuse me. As long as such distinction is there, one should not try to become a sannyasi like Sukadeva Goswami. At least theoretically, one must be convinced that a living entity is neither male nor female. The outward dress is made of matter by material nature to attract the opposite sex and thus keep one entangled in material existence. A liberated soul is above this perverted distinction. He does not distinguish between one living being and another. For him, they are all one and the same spirit. The perfection of this spiritual vision is the liberated stage, and Srila Sukadeva Goswami attained that stage. Srila Vyasadeva was also in the transcendental stage, but because he was in the householder's life, he did not pretend to be a liberated soul as a matter of custom. Do apologize, I have some cough. Okay, let's seek prayers and blessings of our acharyas. Nama Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam. I think it might be a good idea if we just did one thing at a time. Whether we are hearing the Bhagavatam or whether we are watching a television or hearing a video. Multitasking is something which doesn't help us get the focus. And today's verse is very appropriate in that connection. We make offense to Bhagavatam when we are trying to do many things. That's why Krishna told Arjuna that Bahushakha hina anantasya, and then he says Eke Kuru Nandana. He says you have to have one-pointed intelligence if you're trying to worship Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll read the translation of this verse once again. While Srila Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with clothes. Although Srila Vyasadeva himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and looking at them made no distinction between the male and female, but the sage made such distinctions. So, very important verse, devotees. And just to bring some of the key points of the Krishna consciousness in one word, what would be that word? And this particular devotee, a Prabhupada disciple, said, the word which comes to my mind is absorption. So that we do not derive spiritual inspiration, we are not moving, we are stagnant, and that is to do with our absorption not so much in spiritual energy but in the material energy of the Lord. In Krishna consciousness, in the activities and pastimes and the qualities and the holy name of the Lord, then that absorption can come, and that absorption can actually give us the success in spiritual life. And today's verse is very significant in that regard, because if you think of the right at the beginning of the purport, Prabhupada is quoting the verse from Bhagavad Gita 5.18, which is Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihashtini Suni Cheva Sapakecha Pandita Samadharshin. So a learned person, he sees everyone with a similar vision. He sees that there is a super soul situated in everyone's heart, and he doesn't distinguish between a cow and a dog and an outcast or a dog eater. He sees that there is a sacred soul in the body, and there is also super soul situated in everyone's heart. That's why he becomes Samadarshi. Even a lump of a grass, or especially when he looks at all the various living entities, he sees that super soul is there. So here we see Srila Sukadeva Goswami has developed that vision. And today I wanted to take you all on a little journey with me on how is it that Sukadeva Goswami actually developed that kind of vision. Would you like to know how did he develop that vision?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Only one person. Okay, the others can.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Look. Okay, two.
Go
That's
ahead, Prabhuji. Don't ask, just say.
okay. So I'll share a little story with some of you, or most of you must have heard, but here it is. So in his previous life, Sukadeva Goswami was a parrot, but he was not an ordinary parrot. He was a personal parrot of Srimati Radharani. And he used to take messages from Krishna and bring it to Srimati Radharani. And so he used to arrange in the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. So this parrot is extremely, extremely dear to Srimati Radharani in the spiritual world. And this is one devotee of the Lord who has, after Krishna, who has such close proximity towards Srimati Radharani. If you look at in this picture, he sat right at the beautiful lotus hands of Srimati Radharani and relaying the message in her ears of Lord Lord Krishna. And the best part is that when Srimati Radharani, there is a story in Radharani was about to leave this world, going back to Golok Vrindavan. She told her parents Sukha to stay here, but the Sukha said, "What will I do here? I don't want to stay here." Then the dialogue went on for a while, and then Srimati Radharani assured her that wherever the pastimes of the Lord are being narrated, you will not feel any separation from me. Because what is it that Sukadeva Goswami was absorbed as a parrot? He was absorbed in the beautiful. Really sorry, it wasn't there in the evening. It just picks up a little bit more. So when Sukadeva Goswami, in the form of the beautiful parrot, used to go to Krishna, he was so absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. So all he wanted, the same absorption. And Srimati Radharani, before leaving, gave that benediction that you please stay back and you will always be absorbed wherever there is a katha of Krishna consciousness or Lord Krishna's pastime is going on. So taking that inspiration from Srimati Radharani, thus the parrot Sukha started, there is a story. He started looking for a place where Hari Katha was going on. And he finally reached the Kailash Parvat, where Lord Shiva was seated with his wife, Parvati ji. And there Lord Shiva was narrating Bhagavatam to Parvati in Kailash. And you see that even places like Kailash, which are the abode of Lord Shiva, what is he doing? He's also glorifying the Lord. He's also narrating the Bhagavatam. This is what the pure devotee says, Rasam Alyam Bhagavatam, right? Beginning of the first chapter, third verse, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that those who are elevated in Krishna consciousness, they are all the time relishing this rasa of Srimad Bhagavatam by narrating Bhagavatam. So here we see in Kailash Parvat also, the same thing was going on. And Lord Shiva was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati. So what did the parrot Sukha do? He hid himself in the green leaves of a tree under which Lord Shiva was sitting and reciting the beautiful nectarian pastimes to Parvati ji. And during the course of the time, what happened? Let's see. Lord Shiva was completely absorbed in reading the Bhagavatam, and every few minutes, Parvati would make some kind of sound to acknowledge. Like, when you want to show a gesture and you're trying to listen to someone, you want to give some kind of body language, some kind of a very mild words or a very light words, or an assurance that you're fully tuned into the transcendental vibration. That is why it is said that you may be surprised to hear, but I heard this from His Grace Madhavananda Prabhu, who is a disciple of His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj, who's no longer physically present, but an extremely, extremely advanced devotee of the Lord and a very empowered disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And today I was just exchanging some messages with Krishna Kund Mataji, Madhavanand Prabhu's wife. They live in Jagannath Puri for now nearly 25-27 years. And I was just waiting for a confirmation because we are trying to organize a retreat in February to Jagannath Puri in Mayapur. And if you at all want to go to Jagannath Puri, he's the person you want to take shelter and hear the various pastimes of Mahaprabhu which took place in Gambhira, including Haridas Thakur Samadhi, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's place called Chatak Parvat. And finally, after this has been going on for a few weeks, so I'm very happy that today he confirmed that we are very likely to have his association when we go to Jagannath Puri. So he was saying, the point I was trying to make is, he was saying once in one of the lectures when I was in Jagannath Puri in the Yatra, that the listener of Srimad Bhagavatam or Hari Katha can actually empower the speaker. Look at how amazing the statement is. It's very relevant to the point of what Parvati ji is doing to Lord Shiva. By acknowledging the beautiful pastimes and showing that she's very attentive, she's empowering Lord Shiva to speak more and more. That's how the empowerment works. So, and then he didn't stop there. He went on to say that even a disciple can empower a guru in a similar way by being very attentive to the instructions of the spiritual master, by being very attentive in hearing his class, by being very attentive in following his instructions. So here what happened, similarly, you can see in this beautiful pastime, Parvati ji saying, However, after some time, she went to sleep and she stopped making any sound. Then Sukha, who was hiding behind the leaves, started making the sound in the same way as Parvati. Very interesting, isn't it? So now you see, here we see Sukadev Goswami, being a parrot, is able to imitate the voice of Parvati. This is the beauty of the spiritual world and the empowered spiritual living entity. He was even completely able to imitate Parvati's voice. He was going, and Lord Shiva kept narrating Srimad Bhagavatam and felt so empowered to keep speaking the Hari Katha. And then what happens? After a while, Lord Shiva finishes narrating Bhagavatam and he then has a dialogue with Parvati. So what do you think, my dear Parvati, of this beautiful pastime? And Parvati goes, I'm really sorry, my dear Lord, that actually I fell asleep halfway through. Lord Shiva said, what? You were acknowledging by saying, She said, no, it wasn't me. I can assure you, I was really sleeping. It's quite funny that, these pastimes take place, Parvati goes to sleep. It reminds me of Amrendra Prabhu's this beautiful talk, where he mentions that the devotees in International Society of Krishna Consciousness, they sleep 7 hours. And then he expanded, he gave a purport to that. He said 6 hours in the night and 1 hour in the Bhagavatam class. So here we can see that the similar pastime is taking place, that Parvati has fallen asleep and Sukadev Goswami takes that role. Lord Shiva at this point becomes quite angry because he had heard that no one should hear the pastimes like, should come and hear like this, and the pastimes of Bhagavatam, they're so sacred. He was of that opinion. So he started to look, who's here, who's there. And then finally he finds in the bush Sukha, parrot Sukha. he becomes very upset with parrot Sukha, takes his trident and starts running behind him to kill him. He runs and runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. Finally, he reaches the hermitage of Srila Vyasadeva. There, Srila Vyasadeva was again reciting Bhagavatam to his wife Vatika, who was sat there in front of her with rapt attention. She wasn't sleeping, and Vyasadeva kept on reciting this beautiful Bhagavatam to Vatika, and in astonishment, Vatika's mouth was wide open. And just as Lord Shiva was running behind the Sukha parrot went straight into the mouth of Vatika. So, of course, there are different pastimes, but this is one of the pastimes. And, we hear, and Sukha parrot, he entered the womb of Vatika. And then it is explained that there he took a form of a baby. who then grew and grew up to the age of 12 years. When seeing the pain of Vatika, Srila Vyasadeva requested this liberated soul in the womb, said, "My dear son, your mother is suffering, please come out." So Sukdev Goswami then stands in the womb to his father that, "My dear father, the suffering of my mother is not as worst as the suffering of the material energy a living entity goes through, and I do not wish to come out." So then he took another 4 years, and at the age of 16, he decided to come out of the womb of Vatika, and he immediately leaves. And now it brings us to this conclusion, this beautiful point about where he's there in the womb. He then appears, he goes, and then we see from the story of the Sukadeva Goswami some of the very important points. Now we come to the point of the absorption, that the reason why Sukadeva Goswami was at such an elevated level that he did not distinguish between a male and a female is because he had attained the stage of transcendence already in the life where he was as a parrot. I mean, he's already in a spiritual world in this beautiful form. He's enacting the pastime here, and for time being, it may seem he's an impersonalist, where he hears the Geet of the gopis in the forest, and he comes to his consciousness and becomes a personalist devotee of the Lord. However, suffice to say here, as he's walking, the reason he did not distinguish between the male and the female, and nothing happened to him, is because of that stage of absorption. So when we are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, there may be many allurements of Maya which will come our way, but ultimately none of these Maya or things can trick us if our absorption in Krishna is very, very strong. So so I wanted to stop at this point and ask some questions there. What do we learn from Sukadeva Goswami here? There are two important lessons. Let's see what is it that the lessons we have learned in this story. Let's have a few minutes of reflection, and then I'll finish the remaining part of the session. Did you all like the story, by the way?
Absorption is
Yes.
is the important thing when you are listening to Bhagavad Katha.
Yes. So it is the absorption in the Katha, in the holy name, in the association of the devotees, which brings about change of heart. That is why Bhagavatam says, Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, go ahead, Mataji. Bhagavati Uttam. Go ahead. Go ahead, Krishnangi Mataji.
I just, it's gone out of my mind. I was saying
Okay,
that.
let's see, somebody can help you. You can use phone a friend. Anybody wants to help Mataji in this important verse?
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Naishtik.
Padreshu Yam Bhagavata Shevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki.
Wonderful. So when we give a regular attendance in the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam or here to Srimad Bhagavatam, all that which is troublesome to the heart is completely goes away. So here are two important lessons in this connection, that we should all attentively hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and understand the philosophy of our scriptures. Then we should preach to others so that they can also become devotees of the Supreme Lord. That is the perfection of hearing and chanting. It is only half if we just hear and try to perfect our life. Only when we share with others, like Vyasadeva, Sukadeva Goswami, you look at every personality, Lord Shiva, Narad Muni, Lord Brahma, all they are trying to do is how can they benefit others. Coming down to our acharyas, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, they have dedicated their life in propagating this literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, to the masses of people. And then, because he had first heard the Bhagavatam himself from the great personality like Lord Shiva and Sri Vyasadeva, we must hear from the devotees of the Lord and not just from anyone. This is the second important point. And in that beautiful pastime of Lord Shiva narrating Bhagavatam to Parvati, you see, it is again a pastime because Lord Shiva completely understands himself being such a compassionate, or the Karuna, the Murti of the Karuna, compassion, that Bhagavatam benefits. But because this was ordered by the Lord, he acted in that way. And this is the beauty of the Yoga Maya, who even bewilders personalities like Lord Shiva and makes him forget that who this personality Sukha is actually, and make him run behind him to kill him with the trident, you see, and then the beautiful pastime take place. So let's work together to spread this message of the Bhagavatam. So if you all remember, we did a little exercise last week where we all took 5 minutes and we wrote the names of the people from our phone. And I would like you to, in the chat box, tell me how many of you have been praying to Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada to give you some intelligence, some ideas, some empowerment to go and reach out to these friends of yours and tell them about Bhagavatam. Now that we have directly heard from our acharyas that this process is only complete when we hear, read, and share with others. So let me go through the chat box. So how can we do this? We will watch a short video if I have time now from ISV, where it is not so much, I mean, they do door to door, but it is more about the detail and how much focus they put in going out to the people, trying to make the list, reach out to the people and present Bhagavatam. So what we have been meditating on is the list. I'm waiting for your messages on the chat box. So what you should do as part 2 of that exercise is to try to personally present to them if you can. And I'm happy to share the presentation we have put together on Srimad Bhagavatam with all of you. And you can use that presentation and go to your family and friends or invite them at home for a light prasadam dinner or, or a herbal tea and present Bhagavatam to them and see what kind of response you get. There is no harm in that. The other thing you can do is invite them to any of the 3 presentations we are starting from next week, which I'll share the time shortly. And after you invite them, join those presentations so you can add a personal touch and testimony. You can share your own experience of coming to Chat Plus, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and how that is helping you in your Krishna consciousness journey. And then later on, you can follow up with after the presentation to see what their experience was like, and tell them about the beautiful program we have called Suswagatam Bhagavatam. This is a program we have started, which is a brilliant way to inspire new people to invite Srimad Bhagavatam in their homes. And what the program is this, where you invite people and you tell them through this flyer we have put together that this is a supreme Vedic literature. It's non-different to Lord Krishna. It's the highest object of Vastu. It's as brilliant as the sun, as we hear from Bhagavatam. And it's the best gift for all occasions. And what do we do in this program? When we come to your house, we do a nice kirtan. We do reading of few pages of Bhagavatam with your family members. We do Aarti of the Bhagavatam, and everyone gets up from your friends and family who you have invited. They get a chance to offer flowers to Krishna. Why? Because Bhagavatam is not different to Krishna. So we really are encouraging people to make this a festival like a wedding, even better than a wedding if you can. Because you'll probably get married now, and then if you do not think of Krishna, I don't know how many times we will all get married. But if we marry ourselves to Bhagavatam and invite Bhagavatam and get married to Srimad Bhagavatam in this Suswagatam Bhagavatam ceremony, in that wedding, we are committing ourselves that, my dear Lord, we only want to be married to your instructions. We only want to be married to your pastimes. We only want to be married to your wonderful glories described in Srimad Bhagavatam. We only want to be married by the acharyas who've been who've been describing your pastimes for so many ages. We only want to marry Lord Shiva, Parvati, who have the taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We only want to marry Srila Sukadeva Goswami's attraction or the attachment he has towards Srimad Bhagavatam. And by simply encouraging them, and people are very happy when devotees come to their house. Look at the faces of these people when they are receiving Bhagavatam. Look at the humility and the excitement on their faces in this one picture or 2 pictures you can see. This is the most joyful occasion. Take it from me. I mean, I'm saying it theoretically. I have not realized it. I'm trying my best to follow the instructions of my spiritual master and various other spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada by studying Srimad Bhagavatam and sharing with others. And I'm very grateful that many of you are coming forward and doing your best. So many of you are doing such wonderful service. So please help us. And you may get you will have many angles for presenting that Srimad Bhagavatam is not Bhagavad Gita. Clear this doubt of the people. It is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. It's not different from Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is actually predictive. Srimad Bhagavatam is scientific. Srimad Bhagavatam is important for children and is the form of stories and histories. Srimad Bhagavatam supports the cause of preserving Vedic culture through its mass distribution, which is Gomatsya, our main project. And Srimad Bhagavatam will help one develop most sattvic habits. So when you present these ideas, just copy paste and send it to the people. Some of these ideas, are you looking to develop any of these? Then here is an opportunity for you. Starting from the week of 20th of June, every week we're going to have a presentation. On every Wednesday, I will try to present for 45 minutes the presentation of Bhagavatam from 7:15 to 8 o'clock. I will send you the Zoom link. First, you reach out to the people with a personal message and try to get a confirmation. And make it personal. Don't put a message in the group. Go to individuals on the contacts you have collected or the WhatsApp groups you have. Because don't worry what they will feel. The maximum or the worst can happen, they will say no to you. But the best thing will happen because you have tried. Krishna is going to write down your name and say to them that Kamalangi Mataji, Hima Mataji, Bhagwati Mataji, Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu, and all these wonderful devotees, they are trying. Jyoti Mataji, Chaya Mataji, Chetna Mataji, Greta Mataji, Govinda Gopi Mataji, Indira Mataji, Ajay Prabhu, Kalpana Mataji, Kokila Mataji, Krishnangi Mataji, Mitali Mataji, Namrata Mataji, Nilavasana Madhavi Mataji, Paresh Prabhu, Priyank Prabhu, Radhe Radhe Mataji, Shailesh Prabhu, Saroj Mataji, Shabani Mataji, Girish Prabhu, Shobana Mataji, Shipra Mataji, Sunita Mataji, Urmila Mataji, Yogesh Prabhu, Sunita Mataji, Santosh Mataji, and anybody else who I have missed, I'm sorry. All Krishna is going to do is sit down, take out his diary and make a note that this person is actually making the effort. Never mind he got a no, but he made an effort. Let me write down his name. And what was he trying to do? He was trying to glorify Bhagavatam. Good God, I better do something about this person. Let me give him some taste to chant my holy name purely. let me give him the benediction of having the best of the best association by which he can further develop the desire to hear the Hari Katha and come back to the spiritual world at the end of this very life. That is what is going to happen to us against one no. So you decide today whether do you want to take that one, you want to try and get that no, and on the other hand, get your name written in the diary of the Lord, or on the other hand, you just sit down with those contacts or the various WhatsApp groups you have and do not practice Yukta Vairagya, which has been given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that please engage every single thing you have around your surrounding in the service of Krishna. So the decision is ours. If we want to become an instrument in the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it's up to us, and the glories will be ours, which we can definitely pass it to our spiritual masters. But the main thing is, let's attract Krishna's attention. There is nothing which attracts Krishna's attention than actually this service, my dear friends. All service is glorious, but this service is very, very special. So please try to seek confirmation with your follow-ups as you reach out to them. I will try to make some templates. Hima Mataji already has some templates. We can share some short templates for you to invite people. But the best thing is, the only thing which has worked for me is picking up the phone and speaking to your friends, telling them personally, giving them a background, and then and asking, please come to this presentation. I'll be there, and I'd like you to come and hear this wonderful presentation. Just do that much. If you feel that you won't be able to present to them personally. So that's my humble request to all of you, dear devotees, in this call. It's 8:32. I think I've done incredibly well for the time for a change. I normally go over time. Let's take some reflections, some questions, and then towards the last 5 minutes, we're going to watch this short video. Yeah, so I hope you all had a chance. First of all, if any one of you do not have Bhagavatam, please come forward and order Bhagavatam now. This is the link from where you can order Srimad Bhagavatam. We have few languages available, not just English, Gujarati, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil. These are the languages we have. And you can order your set through this link. And either you can get it delivered to your home for a small amount or pick it up from Bhaktivedanta Manor when you're there next. So now, please, I beg at the feet of all of you that please, if you think it is a good idea now that you made the list, you can try to do what has been shared, because I've concluded the second part of the exercise. Then please show a thumbs up by using a reaction button, or put in a message in the chat box. Yes, I do want to become dear to Krishna and I'm going to give it a go. So, and yeah, let's see if anybody has any questions or comments or reflections from today's session. And you can also tell me that I'm quite honestly bored of you, Divya, now trying to tell others about Bhagavatam, and I'm happy to take that feedback. And I don't know what I will be able to do much with the feedback, because this is not something me telling or inventing a way. It's the way of our acharyas actually. Okay, Radhe Radhe Mataji is telling, Hare Krishna, thank you so much for your wonderful class and inspiring us to take part in glorifying Bhagavatam. Thank you so much. Mataji, is that your name, Radhe Radhe or Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji, it's Sumadura Radhika.
Oh, Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Mataji, for your encouragement. Yeah, please pray that I develop some attachment towards Bhagavatam and we are able to help introduce Bhagavatam to some other people. Thank you for the encouraging words.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sunita Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for wonderful classes as always. I was just feeling really inspired by your attitude of this talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. Although you were coughing and you didn't have water or got up to have a break, that was really inspiring. So good to be with this group and keep on spreading your messages. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunita Mataji. Well, there is a reason I thought of getting up, but I just thought because in the evening these days I'm getting this cough is due to the hay fever and it's non-stop. Even if I take something, it's not going to stop. So I thought I may as well just carry on.
It felt like you were relishing reciting Srimad Bhagavatam that you didn't want to get up. It just came across that is amazing. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I hope and pray I get that taste one day. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Santosh Mataji, for your message. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Bol Mataji.
Prabhu, I'm so glad to join this Bhagavatam class. It was my wish to hear Bhagavatam. It's the first time I'm hearing from devotees. And I tell you, it's just so interesting. And I feel like my wish is coming true because I do have a set of Bhagavatam, but hearing from a devotee is a different thing. You know, you enjoy more when you hear from a devotee than you're reading by yourself. So thank you so much for giving these classes to, devotees like us. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Thanks for your enthusiasm.
Hare Krishna.
So please, help us to reach out to as many souls as possible. You have those times. I'll put them on the WhatsApp group. I'll share my whole PowerPoint presentation with all of you, and you can directly pick up that slide and keep it with you. You know what times you can invite, and it's not very difficult. Just call people and say, let's just do this now. So for example, Yogesh Prabhu, are you still there with me?
Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, so just imagine that you do not know anything about Bhagavatam. You're a nice, pious person, which you already are. You're a devotee. I call you and you pick up the phone. So we just briefly know each other. Let's do this as a rehearsal and see how you feel about it. And I'll try to keep it as simple as we can. Okay, here we are. Oh, hi Yogesh, how are you?
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. I'm well, Hari Bol.
I'm very good, thank you. Yogesh, I just called up. It's been a while since we touched base with each other, and I thought maybe I wanted to call you and see how you're keeping. So how are things with you and the family is doing well?
Yes, now that everything has opened up, life has got a lot busy at work and home, and in the sort of seva of Krishna as well. So everything is going on full scale, full steam rather.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's life, you know. We hear from our teachers in our spiritual line that we can be sometimes so taken away by our daily lives that while we are continuing to work in such a way, which is nice to be busy, but it's always good to try and have some inquisitiveness to see how I can make the best use of this human form of life. And to that effect, I want to share with you that I've recently joined a little campaign which is run at Bhaktivedanta Manor Temple, the Hare Krishna Mandir. And that campaign is all to do with re-spiritualizing the society, because after this recent COVID, many people have questions like, is there an end to this COVID? Is there an end to my suffering? And is there a way to a perpetual happiness? Can I be happy forever? So and when I joined this campaign and when I heard about this wonderful literature called Bhagavatam, a lot of my questions have been answered. And a lot of my friends are actually involved in this project to the point, although they work full time, but they have taken up this service very seriously. And it's great, like you have two children for your kids and for everybody. So I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to this wonderful campaign and wanted to invite you to hear a little bit more about this campaign and Srimad Bhagavatam. So I understand you live a little bit far. Meeting in person might be difficult, but do you think you may have about 45 minutes sometime next week or the week after for me, Yogesh, where we both can attend this session together?
Yes, I mean, obviously working full time, it's so times are obviously tight, but I'm sure we can find a mutually convenient time, I think, to talk more and then obviously find out more about your project and what you're trying to do. So that would be good. Yes, yeah.
Great, fantastic. I wish there were more people like you in the world, Yogesh. This will be a much better place to live in. I'm so grateful to you. And I'll be in touch with you
Hare
maybe.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Govinda Gopi Mataji, if you can mute yourself. I'll be in touch with you next week, and we can touch base and see. I'll share a few options with you, and you can choose. And it'll be nice to sit down on the couch and just listen and watch to this beautiful presentation. We have some nice pictures. Your children would really enjoy watching it, Yogesh.
That would be really good, obviously, because I think everybody needs inspiration, and then somebody like you who can actually inspire a lot of us. Actually, I can see there were 45 odd people. There are still 40 people present, at least, and then to hear inspiring words from somebody spiritual soul like you is really, really good.
Thank you for your encouragement, Yogesh. It's always nice to catch up with you. Okay, so I'll be in touch next week. Thank you for your time, Yogesh.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
So that's it, devotees. Just I kept it very simple. It's not difficult as much as we think. What am I going to say? What will I do? And things like that. It is not very difficult. So now I'm going to play a video. I hope all of you felt that was helpful. Sunita Mataji, you have a question. How can we deal with situations when people say they don't have space to store Bhagavatam? Very nice question, Mataji. Really love your question. Well done for asking such a good question. So I'll give you your answer. Let's watch this quick video and I'll give you the answer after this short 4 minutes video. Everyone stay tuned. This is more around door to door, but it gives us some inspiration.
They're your cousins. Look up.
Hare Krishna. I have some very happy news about a major breakthrough in the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's full sets of Srimad Bhagavatams and Sri Chaitanya Charitamritas. Please listen to this short film and find out how you can do it too. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
The most important step is sadhana and prayer. We remember that we are instruments only and pray to Lord Chaitanya to send ripe souls on our way.
Person in that area asked for like-minded people around. That works most of the time. Always keep your radar on for locations.
This is a trolley. So we carry one sealed Srimad Bhagavatam set and one open Srimad Bhagavatam set, so that we can display to people and show from the open set. And we also carry a backpack, which we carry different varieties of books: Bhagavad Gita, Krishna book, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Science of Self-Realization, and some language books.
A team of 3 to 4 devotees mix with Mataji's and Prabhuji's idea.
Start with the Srimad Bhagavatam presentation right away and stay focused on it.
Be enthusiastic, but don't interrupt other devotees while they're presenting.
Introduces the temple programs and other activities once the Srimad Bhagavatam distribution is done.
Our prime directive is to leave people with good impression, even if they don't take the set. We are going out to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the process, if we distribute a set, then it's Krishna's mercy.
Start with an icebreaker. Like, where are you from? If they say that they are from a particular part of India, then glorify the saints of that region.
Irrespective of their culture or background, it gives complete satisfaction to the soul.
Srila Vyasadeva was despondent until he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, which directly glorifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
It is pure knowledge which is beyond of all religious doctrines and gives the highest benefits to all living entities.
Even though Srimad Bhagavatam was written 5000 years ago, it is authentic and is relevant even today.
People from all walks of life can gain valuable knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam is scientific too.
Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the origin of the universe, the different planetary systems, the structure of the atom, and even describes the different units of time. Additionally, Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the fine arts, music, literature, poetry, philosophy, psychology, and all human relations.
Srimad Bhagavatam is very important for kids too.
As soon as you say it's important for kids, it immediately grabs parents' attention.
Kids love to read stories. It's great to show them the pictures and tell them the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Kids growing up reading Srimad Bhagavatam have strong spiritual foothold in life.
The values that they learn from these stories will help them make right decisions in future.
Srimad Bhagavatam is sweet like candy, no matter where you started reading from.
It gives relief from all material desires.
Srimad Bhagavatam can be worshipped on the altar as it is the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna himself.
Once they agree to take Srimad Bhagavatam, we do an installation ceremony called Stapana. Few of our devotees goes their home, take Mridanga and Kartal, and we do Arati for the Srimad Bhagavatam set.
We accept all forms of payment: cash, checks, credit cards.
For every 10 no's, there might be 1 yes.
Once the Srimad Bhagavatam enters the house, auspiciousness begins.
Just a few months ago, on door-to-door book distribution, we met a gentleman named Ashok, who was very happy to receive Srimad Bhagavatam set. His life actually changed after that.
Hare Krishna. I lead a normal, stressful life in Silicon Valley. One day I'm delighted to see Krishna devotees knocking my door with a Bhagavatam set. I received them and I started reading Bhagavatam, and ever since my life has changed. One day I was eating meat and I got such an aversion towards meat that I have to just spit it out. And ever since I became a vegetarian. I also attended Harinam Sankirtan yesterday and I experienced a lot of joy and bliss in my life. It was very, very good. I also started chanting and my life has turned very, very happy.
I like Bhagavatam because it has real stories. I like the Srimad Bhagavatam because Krishna performed unlimited pastimes. I like Bhagavatam because it explains the stories about Lord Krishna. Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam, read.
I distributed Srimad Bhagavatam too. It was easy.
If we can do it, you can too. Just follow these simple steps and see how easy it is. Thank you for...
So I hope there were some ideas, some thoughts. 1 second. Hema Mataji saying superb. It just gives us an inspiration. It just gives us a testimony of not so much, it's about preparing ourselves. You can try door to door, like my wife is really keen now. She's settling in And in a weekend or two, we're going to be going on door to door and trying to follow the same process as the devotees do and see what kind of success we will get. But it's the same principle you can apply, like Bhagwati Mataji, Hema Mataji, Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu. They've been writing the name of the context, meditating on what to say, how to say, putting the message together, and then connecting the people, bringing them to the reception table, introducing to us. All this is a meditation. It's a pure, don't get me wrong, it's a pure devotional service, my dear friends. It is not a mundane activity. You're trying to propagate the highest literature on the planet, a highest book. There is no better book than Srimad Bhagavatam in the world. So to do that, any action you take is nothing less than pure transcendental devotional service. So the video I showed with you with an intention that it inspires you. Don't even for just think like, I'm so grateful all of you are thinking that you're very happy connecting with this Sangha. And I started this something very small because my Guru Maharaj gave me the instruction to chant a chapter of Gita every day. And I did that for about 2 years with my family before I took it to online. I was a little bit mad because I thought I could do it 7 days a week to begin with. That was my over enthusiasm. But then I reached out to some like Sankirtan devotees like Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, Hari Kirtan Prabhu at the beginning, and few others, and Mukunda Hari Prabhu. And we just started from there, like doing 2 to 3 session in a week. And now by Krishna's mercy, we have such wonderful speakers every day. We graduated from the school of Bhagavad Gita. Now we are into Srimad Bhagavatam. How wonderful this journey has been for all of us. We go on the retreats together. So many of you are coming to Vrindavan. We'll be going to Jagannath Puri next year, and so many things are happening. We're going to have a great Janmashtami festival. So if you haven't done your Janmashtami training, please sign up for voluntary training. And the department you want to serve Bhagavatam, then sign up for Gomatsya. There are many services available, not just distribution, packing the Bhagavatam sets, packing the thrones, decorating the Haveli. We're going to be in Haveli and hopefully a gazebo, 2 places this year if we are lucky. If not, we have a Haveli, the main hall for us, the middle one. So there will be so many things happening. So please sign up for this wonderful service. Many of you have signed up. I met with Shailesh Prabhu and Hema Mataji who I've done the training. So please come forward. Yes, there will be sessions in July. If you reach out to the volunteers, you must have received an email. If you haven't received an email, Hema Mataji or someone, can you please put the message on the chat group or send it to Santosh Mataji? She will put it onto the chat board so the devotees can register. You have to register yourself before you go for a particular training. There are various dates, and just put your name down for Go Matsya. I really request each of the members, because there are thousands of volunteers we get for various areas, but and all services in Janmashtami are important, but here we really need help if we want to reach out to thousands of souls in Janmashtami and introduce Bhagavatam to them. So please come forward, attend the training. Santosh Mataji or someone, can I please leave it to somebody to put the message on the group for the training so devotees can attend the training and sign up. Please ask for Go Matsya department after you finish the training. If it is your first training, they will sign you up. Okay, great devotees. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. And I am hoping to get your support and your cooperation in this service to Prabhupada by trying to make Srimad Bhagavatam go viral in this world. This literature is so much needed. Hema Mataji, you want to say something?
I just wanted to say that you've already started the process. Last week, you asked us to make a list. From that, if we commit 5 people to attend this training session that you're offering, then we'll have 200 people. 200 people
session.
instantly. So if we can just make that small commitment of 5 people, just 5 people to encourage them to come.
I think I love the idea. Great. Thank you, Bhagwati Mataji. Now by your prayers, I'll feel better. So I think Hema Mataji made a very good point. Never leave without a goal. And 5 people is not very difficult. And Hema Mataji is saying, she's not even telling you to distribute to 5. She's saying just commit to 5 people, to getting 5 people onto these sessions. So there are 37 of you on the call. At least I think we can try that between this week and the next week, or let's say over the next 2 weeks, we can reach out and work hard to invite 5 people, each one of us, to these sessions. And do you think if it is possible, then I make a prayer, dear Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sri Sri Gaurnitai, and all our previous acharyas. If you so desire, then kindly empower all the 37 devotees who are now present on the Chat Plus session by giving them an opportunity and empowerment to reach out to at least 5 people and get their commitments to join the sessions. in order to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and with the hope that they could also invite Srimad Bhagavatam and perfect their life in this very life, read Bhagavatam, and go back to the spiritual world. Om Tat Sat. Those of you who agree with this prayer, either in part or whole, please chant Hare Krishna loudly, and also let me know through a chat box before you leave. Yes, I'm going to try to invite 5 people to any of these 3 sessions, and I will circulate the link on the group, and you can share it with others. So everybody can unmute themselves and say Hare Krishna, and then send a message in the chat box. I want to see who all are happy to join this yajna of reaching out to 5 people.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So before you leave, please put down in the chat box that yes, I would like to try to invite 5 people. Okay, Saroj Mataji is saying yes. Sunita Mataji is saying yes. Bhagwati Mataji is saying yes. Shabani Mataji, Jai, and Girish Prabhu, yes, well done. Yogesh Prabhu, thank you so much. Yes, I will try. Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu is in. Namrita Mataji will phone Prabhuji all the... Oh, fantastic, Namrita Mataji, well done. Shobha Mataji saying yes. Priyanka and Ulka, thank you, Priyank Prabhu. Nice to see you here. Yes, Chaya Mataji is going to try. Wonderful. Let's see, there's still about 25 left. You've got about 11. When are the next presentation dates? They are next week, starting Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Bhagwati Mataji, I'll put it on the group. Sumatra Radhika Mataji is going to try. Thank you so much, Mataji. Kokila Mataji is going to try. Well done. And we have Nilavasana Madhavi Mataji. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Very grateful to you. This is the magic of a team. You see how much relish you feel by just introducing Bhagavatam. Don't be attached whether they take it or not. Our duty is just to invite them. That itself lowers the bar. We have no pressure on our head, you know. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So we still have another 20 devotees. Before you leave, please put down in the chat box so I can see your names come up. So many of you have said you're going to try.
Would it help to have some RSVP from people so we know roughly how many numbers are coming for each
Yeah,
day?
absolutely. Just do RSVP as you contact them and get a confirmation, and you let us know who's attending the presentation. That would be very helpful. Okay, devotees. Yes, somebody was saying. Shivra Mataji, are you trying to say you're in as well?
Yeah.
Jai, well done. Thank you. Garta Mataji, are you in? B, are you in? Fantastic. Okay, great, devotees. Looks like majority of you are in. And I'd like to thank you all very much for your session. Oh, Shipra Mataji just said yes again. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, thanks everybody. And look after yourself. We will meet again on next Tuesday. By then, next Tuesday, we will take an account of how many people you are able to commit for which session. That'll be really a nice thing to do at the end of the session. Vancha kalpa tarubhesha kripa sindhu bhyo patitanam pavanebhyo
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Very inspiring.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Wonderful class.
you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank
Thank you,
you. Very
Prabhuji. Hope you get
encouraging.
well soon.
Thank you.
Feel better.